YouTube, what is going on? Welcome to Osiris League Season 3, the playoffs. We are on the group stage round 1. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time, it is finally time for us to get to enjoy some very high level of Arc of Osiris. Toxic Gamer, please stop spamming in the chat or else you just get timed out. I appreciate those GGs though. With that being said, the match is nearing. At any moment, it'll begin, well, in 4 minutes to be exact. And when that happens, mayhem will ensue as we are going to watch one match, potentially two. I don't know if we'll end up switching matches. It depends, of course, on the situation and what's going on and what we see in the match. But our primary match that we're going to look at, in the beginning at least, is going to be 411S against UCS. I think that this match is a little bit underrated. 411S, a second team for 411 in these playoffs. They're underpowered by quite a bit, but they have the one extra guy on the playoffs, which is kind of nice. There's also another match way down here. The, where is it? The BBTH against r0se match is bound to be a really interesting match. We will most likely not end up here unless it's like a crazy blowout in favor of either UCS or 411S. I have a slight feeling that it's not going to be that one-sided. Now, with that being said, we are back into casting Osiris League. We're going to be adding a new innovation to our cast, ladies and gentlemen. You'll see it as soon as the match begins because I need the matches to start for it to work. But there is going to be something new in this cast, and hopefully for the rest of the casts from here on out, that is going to be exclusively for the Gecko Gaming channel, unless someone figures out how to do it, but I don't think anyone has figured that one out yet or even tried for that matter. We have something new. Trust me when I tell you, it's going to make your viewing experience that much greater. Last season, we added on the side of the screen, we added the tips for success for you to know if you're new in Arc or you're having a little bit of questions about things in Arc. We have tips of success coming up again this season. On the side of the screen, you'll see pop-ups show up and it'll be awesome. But I'm telling you right now, there is something new that's about to pop on the screen as soon as the matches start, which you all have been asking for. And I spent the off season trying to figure out how to do it. This is experimental. So please, 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 please understand that it might look a little funky. It might not even work. I don't know. I need the match to start to see if it works. If it looks funky, if there's improvements to make, we will be making them for next week. This match specifically, I'll try next match to do the same, but worst case scenario, next week you'll see improvements on this. I know I haven't told you what it is just yet. I'm telling you right now, you've never seen this on a content creator's stream before. And you will be seeing it after today, probably, in a lot of other content creators' streams, and it'll change the way you play, you watch Arc of Osiris. I'm just saying. Sorry, chat, there's... Oh my goodness. There's crazy crisis at work. Okay, well, 1 second. Okay, sorry, my bad. We are, what, moments away from the match starting, right? 16 seconds away. Chat, in the comments right now, let me know. Who do you think is going to win this match? UCS or 411S? In the comments right now, what are your predictions? We bet on this match. We did. Spoiler alert. We bet on 411S. There's a new animation. Kind of cool. We bet on 411S. I don't have anything against UCS for the record, but I believe in the folks of 411S. Oh, I already see. Let's get into the match and hope and pray this works. Let's do this. Close that. Oh no. Open this. That's going to be problematic. As the match is about to start, chat, I want to set up the cool thing. So give me 1 second. I just need to make sure the cool thing works. and then you guys get to see it. So now that the match started, we go this way, and then we do that. Okay. Are you all ready for the reveal? Are you all ready for the reveal? Check it out, ladies and gentlemen. In Gecko Gaming's channel, you will not only be spectating the current match going on between UCS and 411 and 411S, which we will momentarily talk about both teams, but also you can now follow the score of the rest of the matches, kind of. There's a little bit of bugs in there still, on the screen right there. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. We're not only gonna have the one match we are casting on the screen, but you guys also get to see the scores of the rest of the matches live as they go down. Now, I know it doesn't look too pretty. There's places where I can cut and like get rid of the group playoffs at the top and like the button at the bottom, but I didn't remember how the format was. So for next week, we will definitely take it so that it's smaller, it's easier to read, and it takes less space on the screen. But you tell me, how many content creators have you seen put the live score of the other matches on the screen for you guys to be able to not only follow the cast, but also spectate live as the points go up? That is right. This is the next level of Osiris casting, ladies and gentlemen, and you'll get that only on the Gecko Gaming channel right now. This is, again, a dummy version of it. We will improve it and make it better and nicer for you all next week. With that being said, UCS, one of the biggest king alliances known in the game from the beginning, Kingdom 2, are going up against the folks of 411S. 411S, one of the many alliances in the 411 camp, the winners of previous Anubis realm, now part of the realm of Horus. I mean, honestly, these guys can be maybe a quote-unquote second alliance or primary alliance or whatever it is. They can go toe-to-toe with UCS. UCS have the more power, have the bigger name, have a lot more to fight for and to prove themselves. But on the other hand, 411S is going to be a tough opponent, and in 10 seconds, the gates of hell are going to open up, and we are going to get this thing together. Put them a bit higher. Today, just for the sake of enjoying this arc, I am not going to touch that at all anymore unless it's like not working, and then I'll take it off the screen. And if you have any comments, suggestions, anything you think I should change, please let me know after the stream, either in the comments or on Discord, whatever it is. And I have already some optimizations I want to make. Lord have mercy, as the marches are pouring out, we start lagging like crazy as these marches all over the place are coming out. In the beginning of an Arc of Osiris match, in case you don't know this about the game mode, there are only two types of buildings available for occupation: your obelisks and your outposts. There are 3 outposts and 2 obelisks total available in the beginning of the match. From there, in the 52nd minute, oh my lordy. From there, in the 52nd minute, you will be able to occupy the altars of war and life, as well as the sky altars, and the shrines of war and life. As you can see, things are a little bit iffy for me today. Crazy stuff going on at work. Like, my phone is blowing up. Sky altar, desert altar, shrine of war, and shrine of life become available for occupation in 226 minutes. Seconds. For now, we're waiting on the first marches to reach the first buildings. The name of the game is occupy buildings and gain points. The more buildings you own for longer periods of time, the more points you're making. And the most important buildings as of right now are the obelisks. They are your gate to get out of the initial zone and to be able to teleport out. Into this area right here, which is a minute and a half plus worth of time being saved per march as you go through the game. With this being said, it looks like 411S starting off a little bit in the lead. They have 2 of their outposts occupied and 2 outposts and an obelisk. As I say that, UCS pick up their second obelisk plus the 2 outposts. Now the team in blue does that as well. So the map is fairly even, but you can see the timers on the blue side are a little bit higher than the timers on the red side, which means they will occupy their buildings first, and therefore they will start gaining points first. This is not tragic. This is not like they're losing by a hefty amount in here. This is definitely just going to be a couple of tens of points, if not 100, 200 points worth of a lead for the blue team. This is not very serious, but again, these are the kinds of things that could potentially change a match. I believe one AVG won their final by 36 points, if I'm not mistaken. It was their final match to get into here. So imagine those 36 points being in favor of the other team because they took the first buildings first. That could be really problematic. At this stage, rallies are being sent across the board, but these rallies are not necessarily meant to hit buildings, but rather to mobilize troops on the field. One of the things that you'll see happening a lot in Arc of Osiris is folks utilize rallies to protect marches. Instead of having single marches marching on the field, they send rallies to march together. That way they're not attacked on their way to their destination. And that's that. 340 points. Okay, so it says 340 points. I remembered something like that. Thank you, Anand, for fixing me. So it was 340 points. That's still not a lot of points. UCS trying to sneaky, get into the obelisk of the blue team, but they already have a full rally in there protecting the building. I would assume the same goes on this side. And now the rest of the rallies are marching upwards. Rallies already canceled, going towards an offensive position. Blue team very well positioned on this UCS desert altar, but there's still 70 seconds until the building opens up. And UCS still has a full minute to march all of these people in here, and they will very easily, well, maybe he won't, but these guys will very easily make it into the area of this building before the building opens up. They'll be able to contest the few 411S marches in here, and they'll do their best to potentially to take their building first. What you're seeing here is a cavalry rally where for 411S, and for the sake of my sanity, we're going to go with blue and red. The team in blue right now have enough cavalry and a Attila Takeda somewhere in here that they are planning on trying to take the Desert Altar's first occupation first. Why is that? When you occupy a building first for the first time, you get an extra amount of points for your team right here and for yourself as well. These extra occupation points, 750 points, are a lot of points. So contesting for these buildings in the beginning of the match is crucial, and taking your own buildings is a very important thing. What do I mean when I say your own buildings? Arc of Osiris' map is a mirrored map. If you look right here, you'll see an invisible line in which the buildings corresponding to each side. So blue team snuck the desert altar away. Now they got to get this Attila Takeda in, and Attila Takeda in the building, desert altar. All of these open field marches need to get in here, and now 411S in blue are trying to take over both the Shrine of Life and the Desert Altar from the red team. On the other hand, the red team did the same on the Desert Altar for the blue team. So these guys exchanged buildings. But in here, there is a Cao Cao captain in this building, which is going down very quickly. On the other side of the field, an Attila Takeda that will go down very fast, but it'll be so much more painful for the team in red to take their building back than it'll be for the team in blue, who right now have everything they need to take over this building. Both teams taking early buildings away from each other. No simple graphics doesn't help, Nassim. As soon as I come back in, there is enough marches. It's simplified graphics, and I cannot take the simplified graphics out. There's no button to take off simplified graphics. If I leave, take them off, come back in, it'll automatically do this again. I've asked Lilith a million times to add a button here so we can take off the simplified graphics. It'll automatically do it. With that being said, everybody's streaming 411S. That sucks. I saw people streaming r0se. I thought people are streaming 1008. I didn't think everybody would be streaming this. I went for this because I thought everybody's going for the rest of the matches. I saw one AVG. I saw someone was supposed to cast BBTH and r0se. Everybody went for 411S versus UCS. That's sad. But anyway, what can we do? If there's no coordination, there's no coordination. 411S still trying to take their building back. This is a problem. They're losing a lot more time than the red team did taking their own building back. This will amount to a lead that will go in favor of the red team once all of these buildings get occupied for the first time. So if we take a quick peek, right now, over almost a minute worth of occupation for the red team means almost a minute less worth of points for the team in blue. That is 150 points. 150 points. While this is going on, I see that our sneaky thing is not working. Can it work now? It does work now. Nice. Okay. So there we go. There you are. Now you can see right? Yeah, now you can see the scores and it updates and it's nice and neat and all that good stuff. With all that being said, Let me see. We have a very, very, very problematic situation for 411S. There's a lot of open field presence here for UCS, who can just keep sticking troops in the building. And if they keep sticking troops in the building and taking this building's first occupation, or even now taking 2 full minutes away from the team in blue, oh, this is a bad start for 411S in blue, who on top of that are getting challenged across the board. They will first occupy most of their buildings. As you can see, both teams picking up majority of their buildings' first occupation. Sky Altar secured, Shrine of Life secured. This Shrine of Life is still pending and now about to go out to the Desert Altar, 18 seconds away and being contested, but not very successfully. Oh boy, the lead is still blue, but very slight lead, and that is about to change if they cannot take this building away from the red team in 49 seconds. But UCS put so much pressure on this Desert Altar so early on. Oh my lordy, it's gonna be a very, 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 very problematic situation for the team in blue, who without this occupation are already about almost 800 points behind. 800 points behind. That is crazy. And it's about to go much higher than that. 750 points are going to go in favor of the red team, gaining a huge first occupation lead, gaining a first points per minute lead. And overall, this situation is getting very, 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 very tough for 411S. Now, here is the good news for our friends in the department, in the team in blue. They're in a tough place, but thankfully 47 long minutes remaining worth of a match is plenty of time for the team in blue to make a comeback into this. For 1,600 points early lead for UCS in red, and here is the counter. 411S in blue taking the Shrine of War away from UCS, who are mostly occupied defending their opposition's Desert Altar, which they currently occupy, and it's about to potentially go down, that they lose their Shrine of War. There's a huge problem with losing their Shrine of War. There is 2 minutes until the Arc pops up. The first arc of our match. Buildings blinking everywhere. We're going flying by to see what's where, because buildings blinking doesn't mean anything is happening. Like this building right here is fairly well secured. This rally is taking the building down slowly and steadily, but it seems like the building is doing a better job than the rally is. If 411S get 1 or 2 more marches in here really, really quickly, they can take this building away from UCS. UCS dragging time. At this point, big problematic mistake. Cavalry march in here with full archer's Artemisia on the wall. I don't know what her setup is, but if she is full archer, the moment you put those calves in, you just made that garrison that much weaker. You just made that garrison very, very weak. Give me 1 second. Damn, there we go. And so buildings secure, buildings blinking everywhere. Both the obelisks building for both blue teams, both blue obelisks blinking. They're both fairly well secured. Good job by the team in blue holding on to their buildings. And here's the pickle. In about 56 seconds, the Arc of Osiris is about to come up. Now, UCS do have a strong, red team has a strong position in the middle compared to blue. There's still a little bit of time for blue to start making their way here, but the problem is they are not here. The good news for them is they own both the Shrines of War, which means they do more damage than UCS does if they go on the 1v1. When it comes to the same troops and the same commanders, granted, equipment might do a little bit of a difference, but regardless, oh my goodness, 6 phones while we started recording. We started casting. That's how crazy things are today. But with all this being said, building about to go down and finally 411S taking over their own Desert Altar. 16 minutes into the match, technically speaking, almost 10 minutes into the match. Oh my lordy. Scores do not update live because Rise of Kingdoms don't update them live. I unfortunately will have to occasionally do this and then put it up nice to you guys so you can get an update on the scores live on screen. And unfortunately, it looks like Rise of Kingdoms doesn't update it live, which kind of sucks. I could have sworn that update's live, but that's okay. We can fix this. We will occasionally, on every couple of minutes, just refresh the scores so you can keep an eye on them. That's limitations of the system, unfortunately. Blue team taking over the map right now. They have a 120 point per minute lead in the buildings game. They have pretty much given up on this arc. It looks like they are willing to concede the first arc for the team in red, but they're starting to position themselves on the open field in a very dangerous situation. The team in blue owns 3 altars, 2 of them not ticking for points yet for the team. Once that happens, that's 300 extra points per minute. And within 10 minutes, this arc becomes completely useless. And so at 3,000 points in here, plus another 1,500 points worth of a difference, 4,500 point lead for the red team. With 300 points per minute, 15 minutes from now, all that lead is going to go away. The beauty in Arc of Osiris is that buildings and holding buildings are passive income. The more passive income you have, the less work you have to do to gain points, essentially. Right now, what it seems that's happened is the blue team banked on the passive points in owning as many altars and shrines as they can, while giving up to UCS the hard-earned points that you got to send a lot of marches into the center. And in return, they've dominated the field. 120 points per minute in the lead is a good thing. UCS bringing that down to about 80 points per minute, and that's going to change very quickly once these 2 altars are secured for the blue team. 23 seconds on this altar, as there's plenty of open field presence to defend it, and no one nearby to contest it. Marches are coming in from UCS in red, and a rally this is a infantry rally on its way to the building, and Lord, oh Lord, if these buildings close in favor of the team in blue and stay within their team, oof, it's going to be problematic. We do not have, unfortunately, the BBTH and r0se scores on the screen yet. Another small limitation of Rise of Kingdoms, and it is that their scoreboards are in a list, so I cannot show you all the list because only 4 matches fit on the screen. Hopefully, for next week, now that I kind of know what I need to do, we're gonna try to double it up, and we're gonna look at we're gonna add more matches in here and all that good stuff. I want it according to the wait, what? I'm so confused. All underdogs will win. We'll see. For now, 411S is having a very tough time. UCS turning the tables, team in red picking up the Shrine of War away from 411S, and they are now in a nice 300 point per minute lead, which is fantastic. That's what they're looking for. But they really need to get their Shrine of War back, and they need to get their defense rolling to keep this 300 point per minute lead as much as they humanly can. We're looking at right now about 1,000 point differential between these 2 teams, taking account the fact that an arc is not secured yet, but it'll go in favor of the team in red, so it'll be a 4,000 point lead. And even this arc is taking a little bit of damage. It is still costing UCS some marches. Securing the 3,000 points, there is 5 marches currently still very, very occupied and taking damage following BK Lim back home, essentially. And so the points per minute game is slowly shifting. UCS are starting to pick up momentum, and when they pick up momentum, Lord, oh Lord, 411S is going to be in a world of pain. The 360 has been achieved. UCS have stopped the bleeding at about 1,000 point differential, and now as soon as these buildings finish their occupation, we are going to see UCS, their team in red, not only take the points per minute lead, but also take a fairly substantial lead from the arc. Again, 40 minutes remaining in the match. There's still plenty of time to go. Do not worry if and when by any chance this match becomes one-sided or ends. We will go take a peek and see potentially whether r0se versus BBTH is looking a little bit interesting. 411S versus UCS is indeed the priority, and if we see that there is nothing for us to see here, we'll go take a look at r0se versus BBTH too. UCS sending gatherers in here? I'm slightly confused as to what's going on in here. The obelisks are being rallied consistently, but these obelisks seem to be very well secured. The reason obelisks are being rallied is until the 30th minute in the match, you'll be gaining every 5 minutes a teleport. Now, on the 30th minute, if you've used Divine Aid twice, which you can within the first 26 minutes of the match, you will then have 30 total teleports ready to rock and roll on the 30th minute for everybody to teleport, and then it doesn't matter what you do. There goes Glory, adding 5 teleports for UCS. 2 teleports still available for 411S and no teleporting happening. 7 now, as it seems that 411S also triggered their Divine Aid, and we didn't see it on the screen, curiously enough. UCS, like freaking clockwork. They just straight up teleported all the way down to 0, and yeah, nothing else can be said. 7 teleports for 411S. 411S is a little bit starting to fall behind on the element and on the basics. They're on the points per minute gap, 80 points per minute in favor of the red team, who are just gaining more of a ground as they now lead by over 4,000 points, and it just keeps getting worse and worse. UCS now putting a lot of pressure towards the Shrine of War. The reason they're doing that is the Arc of Osiris is nearing by 7.5 minutes until the next arc. There's a rally on its way to this Shrine of War, and the name of the game for UCS right now is take this shrine early on, get 411S to have to fight back for their shrine. While that goes down, the timer on that arc keeps ticking down, and it'll position 411S in an impossible choice. They either will have to take over their their Shrine of War back, or they're going to have to figure out how they're going to fight in the middle. It's going to be a very, very problematic situation for them, and thankfully 37 minutes is plenty of time for you know, to come back into this. We updated the results, and you can see down below there's a lot of interesting things going on. Curiously enough, MCO putting in something's wrong. Something's wrong. Okay, sorry. Let's try to fix this. We're gonna have to fix this live. Apologies, because there is a mistake here. We're gonna try to give you this match instead of that match. Oh, you go this way, and you come down here. Okay, perfect. Not perfect, but good enough. MCO is putting in the work against UCS, I can tell you that much, and I can definitely tell you 1AVG is destroying 108. It's not something that is it? Is it? It is not. It is not. There's another mistake right here. Sorry, chat. Apologies. Again, it's like working on these things in parallel is never a good idea. The people destroying the people are not 1AVG. Apologies for that comment. It's C9N versus 49F. That's what we're looking at. No wonder. No wonder. There we go. Now that's better. That's more accurate. Apologies for that, chat. Of course, I'm doing my best to give you new and exciting things for us to watch in the casts, but sometimes you gotta experiment, and we gotta experiment live because there's no other way to experiment. With that being said, crazy stuff going on here. Team in blue losing their Shrine of War, and it seems like they're even opting out of picking it up altogether. The map is starting to flip red, but trouble. Big trouble. In the 35 minutes before the end of the match, an obelisk went away in the favor of 411S. UCS now have a problem. They're gonna be short on a teleport. It's gonna take them another 5 minutes to get all of their people out. This is not the most tragic thing on earth, but it's definitely a disruptive situation happening right now in favor of the team in blue. That disruption. However, problems. 411S are slowly starting to lose grip in this match. 180 points per minute compared to the 570. Looks like a 390 point per minute lead for the team in red. However, the team in blue is really going super early towards the middle. They are trying to get themselves positioned for an early fight. However, while they do that, they pretty much seem to have neglected their buildings altogether. They're about to lose. They lost their desert altar. They are nearing losing their sky altar. Thankfully, it did not go down for them, but they took an obelisk but lost an altar, and in the process, they might have disrupted a teleport away from UCS, but they also lost. They also lost quite a bit. They also lost quite a bit in the process. I don't know whether or not it's a matter of the strategy is incorrect or the first disruption in the desert altar really killed the momentum of 411S. As someone who felt it on my soul on the sky altar in a match last season at the top 4 against HKL, losing such a crucial building early on can be really disruptive for your whole match, and it's very, 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 very hard to come back into a match once you've been disrupted in such crazy way. I think what 411S is banking on is trying to get this arc and closing down 3,500 points very quickly. The problem is it's been 7 minutes since they've postured towards the middle, and there's 3 more minutes to go. By that time, UCS are growing their lead in such a crazy way that by the time the arc is delivered, there's going to be probably another 2,000-3,000 points on the side of UCS, and then that arc will be very insignificant. On top of that, UCS and Red are starting to pour into the middle, and they're catching folks coming into the middle on their way there. There is a nice little bubble, a nice little ball of a few marches that are blue, but there are a lot more on their way, and a nice flank from the back by UCS with 2-3 people in the back catching individual marches going towards the ball. And there's another red ball building up on this side 2 minutes into the match. Crucial. 2 minutes before the arc pops up. Skill being triggered by 411S. 411S trying to go aggressive early to get rid of these UCS people and then try to take this arc back. But 2 minutes is too early. 2 minutes, 411S could get rid of all these UCS marches, and they can make it back in time to fight for this. So I don't really know whether or not this was a power move that was good for the folks in 411S. UCS, on the other hand, are obliged to take the challenge. UCS are in a better shape. UCS are in a much better shape to do this, because there's a very small ball in this side when it comes to the blue side compared to red. But the red side that's really problematic is the one that's catching them in the back. It's not the one that's catching them up on the front. And they just don't seem to realize it as the gap grows for over 5,500 points and 30 minutes remaining in this match. It's going to be a very, 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 very hard uphill battle for 411S. And let's see how this arc works out. Let's see how this action works out. As we do that, let's refresh our scores on the screen. As we can see right there, Pete Tall, man, my coins, I bet on them big time. Hopefully that's our first big score. MCO versus OV. OV holding their own, but MCO putting a fight to it, and C9N doing what C9N know how to do best. Well, one of the things they know how to do good, because they know how to do a few things good. Doing their thing in Arc of Osiris. So as of this point, we are looking at a crazy middle ground, between these two teams. And UCS losing their Shrine of War can be problematic. That is 5% less attack and 5% less defense in the favor of UCS of 411S. The skills are all even, but now 411S have an extra defense plus attack. Chat. You guys can keep spamming r0se versus BBTH. I will choose when to do it, and I will go there. Right now, the difference is 500 points. In 10 minutes, the difference there will be 10k points, and in here it'll be 500 points, and then all of you are going to be like, go back there, go back there. I know what I'm doing. I know you guys want to see the 500 points. It's 500 points with 30 minutes remaining. We're going to watch this match until a point where I see where there is no hope for this match, and then we'll go watch r0se versus BBTH. If you don't like it, by all means, you're welcome to go find a stream that streams it. I'm all for it. Or, you know what? Turn on your own stream. Anyway, with that being said, we're looking at 2 Shrines of War in blue, 2 altars in blue. essentially blue own their map. Blue are good to go. They only own the Shrine of War that's supposed to be red. And although they're not leading in the points per minute game right now, once all the buildings secure and occupy and all that good stuff, 2 thumbs up, they will take the lead, and then potentially things are gonna work out. So here is the thing. Arc is being moved backwards by 411S. 411S dropped it on their side. That's the first good thing that they did for this fight, in the sense of getting their Arc once the Arc established and is ready to rock and roll. With all that being said, it looks like they're still picking up the Arc and moving it backwards. 3,500 points in this Arc is going to be a very, very important comeback for the team in blue, who are going to close their gap to 2,000 points if they manage to get it done. But don't celebrate just yet, as Bogdown comes down and as more and more red marches are all over the place. The Shrine of War that belongs to blue team is being challenged, and it has a problem. It's about to go down. The red Shrine of War is being swarmed, but it looks like it's going to be occupied. It's going to be occupied even for a little bit by the folks of 411S. With all this being said, buildings blinking all over the place. Arc is being carried now by UCS. Oh my goodness. 411S lost control of the Arc of Osiris, and now it is backpedaling towards the red team. It is very bad news. 411S having frowny faces go all over the place, while the red team is marching slowly and steadily with this Guan Yu, the Arc, their way home. As I mentioned, the team in blue probably will not be able to take this Arc. And the reason for that was pretty much engaging too early. They engaged a bit too early, and when they engaged a bit too early, it allowed UCS to essentially dictate when they want to engage. And what we're seeing is this result right here: frowny faces all over the map. Frowny faces all over the map. So 27 minutes remaining in the match. If this Arc indeed goes in favor of the team in red, I think we are going to reach a point where it's like this match is not going to go anywhere. I'm waiting to see if r0se manages to march his way back home with this Arc. If he does, then there is very little that can be done for the folks in blue. The folks in blue also losing their Desert Altar in the process to an Attila Takeda rally, and they take back a Sky Altar from the red team. So tit for tat, they go up and down. And so, yeah, what can we do? What can we do? Curiously enough, this obelisk is still blue again. But at this point, there are 3 teleports available for UCS, and nobody's been using them. So this obelisk seems like less of a significant building now that, everybody is teleported and everything is good to go. You know what the problem here is? The problem here is right here. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 people who haven't teleported yet. More. 5 people who haven't teleported yet. 10 teleports available on the team in blue. And if you take a quick peek at the team in red, we have 1, 2, and 3 folks who need to teleport out. And, like r0se carrying the Arc, they're on the field right now. And so their priority is less teleport and more get on the field. But if you take a quick peek, 2 more people on the map teleported to the obelisk, 10 more marches with over a minute and a half worth of march for the folks in red. Trouble indeed. The blue team is going to have to figure out how they come back into this. They're really going to have to figure out how they come back into this. Did I see this correct? Gathering skill, by the looks of it, you did see it correct. There is a lot of gatherers on the map. Don't sleep on the provisions. I see here already folks provisioning for UCS. Looks like r0se is a gatherer, which is why he hasn't teleported. Although curiously enough, he was carrying the Arc, which is hilarious. Pugnano too is also one of the people who hasn't been teleported yet. 6,000 points in the favor of the team in red. 100 point per minute in lead for the team in blue. Oof. With the Arc being worth 3,500 points and 25 minutes remaining in the match, even at 100 points per minute lead is not going to be enough. They're going to need 400 or 500 points per minute lead in order to come back into this, and an Arc. Very, very, very tough uphill battle for the 411S camp. With 25 minutes remaining in the match, looking at all of this, I really don't think that we have much to look at anymore. 411S pretty much kind of like I want to say drop the ball, but they never even had the ball. Not because of anything wrong they do or have been doing, more because of how they started the match. They lost the match at a very, very early stage when they lost occupation on their desert altar and just took them way too long to take their desert altar back. Once that is going on, once that happened, pretty much all of 411's S rhythm and momentum just went out the window, and by the looks of it, they were just unable to recover a way out of that fall, and it's very visible. We're looking at 90 points per minute for the red team, and every time a blue team does one thing, red team does two, and it's just impossible. It tells you how crucial and how important the first few plays in the early stages of the game are. Losing this desert altar was what killed 411S, and they were just incapable of taking their building back. I kind of feel like for every time you guys say switch to r0se, I'm just gonna stay here for another minute. I feel like that's something that we should do. I feel like that's something we should do. I was literally about to change, but I feel like if you guys are the directors, then let's let you be the directors, y'all trolls. Looking at what's going on in here, 6,000 point plus lead, 23 minutes. Plus this, that's 35, 6,000, 9,500 points, 23 minutes means that you need 400 points per minute lead. From here on out, and an arc, and provisioning. I think he's not purposefully not switching to r0se. Gotta get them views. I'm not switching to r0se exactly because of people like you. Oh my goodness. Ritesh, no. I kind of don't feel like casting r0se anymore. I honestly kind of don't feel like casting r0se anymore. Because you guys keep bugging me. Keep spamming, actually. That's good. Keep spamming. Spam the chat. Red team taking the Shrine of War. Yeah. Tried. Really did. I really tried to give you guys a chance for 411S, but it's not over. 411S can recover out of this and still make it out to the playoffs. They're going to have to win their next two matches. Dislike? Please do. Unsubscribe too while you're at it. Unsubscribe too while you're at it, please, Ritesh. This is why I don't have the chat usually open when I cast. Let's see. All right. All the buildings are red. This is boring. Let's go take a look at what else we can cast and take a look at the other matches really quickly. Before we do that, let's update the scores on the screen so you guys can see the other matches. Where are we? You go here and you. Hello. Let's go look at the. Where are we? C9N. This is kind of crazy. Let's scroll down. Oh, look at that. BBTH are 3,000 points in the lead. BBTH with 3,000 points in the lead. And they don't have the points per minute game, which is good, but they do have 2 arcs in their favor. Looks like r0se have been doing a really good job in this match, taking the open field and owning the points per minute game. They have lost 2 arcs, sadly, and there's a massive fight in this desert altar. But 2 arcs is 6,500 points, and they're only down by 3,000 points. It means that they were in the lead for a very long time, but they lost both arcs. Now, losing all arcs is really, really, really not an issue. It is really not an issue. Why you stream if you're going to get butthurt all the time? Why you watch if you're going to go on someone's... I'm literally like sitting at work. People are spamming my phone with work. I took time off of work to cast, to have a fun experience for the community. Like, does that... I need to do more, right? I need to do everything you want me to do. I don't know what you guys want. You set the title. I set the title this and then that. People can expect I went to the match whenever I want to go to the match. I set the title. Look at the title. This plus that. We finished with the one and then we go with the other. I mean, I don't get why do I need to explain to you how I run my stream? It's crazy. I listen to you guys and to all your feedback, and I do everything in my human power to give you the best experience available. I stayed all night trying to get that working, and all you can do is complain. All you're doing is complaining. It's just crazy. Half of the chat is complaining. Where have you seen in a Rise of Kingdoms cast ever other matches have the score on the screen? Where? Where have you seen pop-ups on the screen giving you stuff to do, right? Like where? To improve and to get things done. And yet, all you do is complain. All you do is complain. M-Ace, bye. Have a good one, brother. Where is he? You. And go find someone else to talk to. Go back to Ronnie's stream or something and go talk there. All right, going back into the action. 2 minutes for the arc. r0se are posturing forward like crazy. r0se are posturing forward like crazy, which is a good thing. They really need this arc. If r0se take this arc, this is a 4,000 point arc. If they take this arc, they take back the lead, and drastically. While they're doing that, they've taken the points per minute lead, which they've owned all this time. They've taken away the Shrine of War from BBTH, which is very, very bad news. But BBTH have enough presence around here that they can definitely take their building back. Looks like BBTH are also about to send a massive amount of people into the middle, and this can work really badly for r0se. The strength that r0se have over BBTH is their ability, is strategy. It's not necessarily power. When it comes to power, BBTH have the equipment, have the commanders, have the people, and have the experience to absolutely, completely, and totally overtake r0se just because of the amount of whales in this kingdom and in BBTH that have migrated in and all these things. So for r0se, the problem is potentially as the game got stuck, the difference in commanders. The problem is the number one thing they need is the middle, and the middle is all about commanders and troops on the field. So hopefully for them, they'll be able to do something in the middle enough that will make it so that they can keep winning the open field presence. If they can take a bigger point per minute lead, that arc is insignificant. How much point was this arc? Rob, this is the third arc of the match. It'll be worth 4,000 points total. And previously, BBTH picked up 2 arcs. Remember that. So this is the third arc. 2 of them went towards BBTH. The lead is in their favor because of the arcs. By the looks of it, they've lost every single part of the buildings game. Every single part of the buildings game so far, BBTH are having a tough time with, as the only real way for the folks in r0se to be in that lead is because of the buildings game. So instant delayed graphic detected, and we go into simplified graphics just like that. Whoever said no simplified graphics, rest in peace. PTOL is winning. Yeah, they are. You can see their score right there. He updated a few moments ago. We can update it again momentarily, but right now we're going to get away from here. 18 seconds until the arc begins. We're going to zoom out a little bit further. It's tough to zoom out when there is crazy stuff happening on the screen, but we want to get a little bit of a bigger overview of the situation, kind of like that, and madness. The arc pops in 5 seconds. Blue versus red going crazy in the middle. Arc comes down. Who drops it on their side first will determine who will have an early lead in this battle for the arc. By the looks of it, someone up here has the lead by a few mini seconds. 15 minutes remaining in the match. It is time. BBTH procking the fast skill to get themselves further out on the field. The red team pick up the arc first, and they are starting to, they lose control really quickly, just like that. And so this is going to be pretty much where a lot of both of the teams are going to focus. But that works out in the favor of r0se right now. But in a few moments, it will stop working in their favor because by the looks of it, the map is even with the exception of the obelisk, which is only 20 points. Once r0se take, that obelisk is fairly insignificant. It really has no advantage at this stage for either side. Once this finishes ticking in their favor, in the red team's favor, there's only going to be a 20 point per minute lead for the folks in blue, which will later on become 40. They're going to need so much more points per minute in order to close this gap. but they are, with every single minute going by, they are closing the gap down. And so they keep rallying buildings. They're trying to get more open field presence and trying to take buildings. But really, it looks like both teams said, forget about rallies, forget about buildings, forget about all of that. We need the middle. We need to fight in the middle. We need to take this arc home. Where is this arc? It is very much on the red side, and it is marching at a stupendously fast rate. Blue team is still here ready to fight it, but with every inch that this arc goes in favor of the red team, trouble ensues. This march is marching stupidly fast. This arc, oh, it's probably tier 1s that fell so quick. I don't know, that was marching stupidly fast. r0se picking up the arc now can be problematic, as that march is going to get grinded down to a halt. If the red team take this arc, that is 7,000 points in the lead for them, and boy, oh boy, I hope they're gathering, and the blue team is provisioning, because they're really going to be in a tight spot. Losing 3 arcs but not having that big of a point per minute lead is very hard. It's very hard. 610 points per minute for the team in blue compared to the 540 of red. Blue team is still in the lead in the points per minute game by about 70 points. But in a moment, 4,000 points are going to go in the favor of red. And knowing the folks of BBTH and the way they think about these things is let's see, Dragor, you're the least of my worries. You are the least of my worries. What you wrote is not a big deal, brother. I understand your frustration, but there's a difference between someone like you who watches the streams all the time and knows why I do what I do, and people who just come in here and just and just don't let me cast the match, right? Like, I understand you. It's the spam really threw me off mid-cast, which sucks, right? Like, we wanna be focused on this, right? Thankfully, Titch is here to kind of help out. So we refreshed the scores. Thank you, chat, for keeping me honest on the refresh of the scores. It looks like trouble in paradise for the folks in 96, and the other 2 matches are fairly as we predicted them, although MCO could still yoink this. 4,000 points is not that big of a lead. Provisioning can definitely take care of that. So r0se are in a big problem now, because even though they have a nice little backstab that's going to come catch Moo off guard, or catch Supremacy off guard, and Supremacy is going to go down more than likely, this arc is already way too far it's way too far in the red side. At this point, unless the time runs out and the arc pops in the center, most likely the red team will take this arc. 70 points per minute lead is very rough. With 12 minutes remaining, that is only 840 points, which is not enough for BBTH to lose against r0se. r0se are down 2,100 points right now. With 800 points, they'll be down about 1,700 points. With all that 1,700 points, I forgot my train of thought. 4,000 extra point, 5,700 points in the favor of the homies in BBTH, and then r0se, the homies in r0se and ladies of r0se, are going to need to figure out how they take that 5,000 point differential and what they do with it. Even provisioning, unless one team is provisioning and the other one isn't, is not going to be enough for 5,000 points. I think the job for r0se right now is to figure out how they can close that gap as much as possible. If you ask me, this is the time when r0se bail on this arc and start rallying all the red buildings. If they can get to a point where they're gaining more than 300 points per minute in the last 10 minutes, or even for 5-6 minutes of those last 10 minutes, it'll close this gap in such a substantial manner that it will be possible for r0se to win with provisions. Granted, they have to be provisioning, right? And so if they're not provisioning, this is very problematic. As you can see, every time r0se, BBTH drop the arc and pick it up back, the timer resets. That kind of sucks, which means that there's really no way for this arc to go back into the middle at this stage. Nobody's going to be stupid enough to just keep holding it for 15 minutes. And the worst thing you can do is you can take the arc, you can go into a provisioning tile for the record, it'll drop it, and then when you pick it up back, it'll reset the timer. Do you want to hold one arc all match long, chat? This one's for you all. If you want to hold an arc a whole match, take your arc all the way to here. As you can see, there are some provision spots that are very close to the obelisk. and just drop the arc right here. Pick it up every couple of minutes and drop it. Pick it up every couple of minutes and drop it. And then just put it in your city when you're ready to rock and roll. Small tip for you all until Lilith fix it, hopefully. But hey, if Lilith cause issues, what can we do? If that's how the mechanic works, that's how we use it. With that being said, a world of pain is coming to the way of the blue team. 1,900 points, and they're only making 50 points every single minute. This is just not enough. 9 minutes remaining means that within the 4,000 points from this arc, they're going to be potentially able to close this. Now, there's something here that r0se could try to do, which seems like a suicide crazy thing to do, but is doable. They could try to keep hitting the arc carriers for BBTH and just not let them submit the arc. One big problem. They need to do this for 9 long minutes. And 9 minutes is a long time for you to be sitting there and trying to hit one march, and getting across the map to get here. So the likelihood of this arc not delivering is close to 0. Unless, of course, BBTH screw up. And so, looking at the map, things are not looking good for r0se. This is a great move. This is what r0se need. They take a desert altar, they take a sky altar away from the red team, and this is how they get back. They need to get one more of these away from r0se, right from BBTH. Right now, BBTH are gonna miss 150 points per minute every single minute for at least 3 minutes, and now it's 3 minutes and 20 seconds, and that number is still growing. 3 minutes for 150 points less that the folks in red are gonna make. Hey, what's up, DS? How you doing? You changed your name. And, oh, this building is so close to go down. The rally is ahead. The rally is ahead. BBTH are going to lose this building. This could be a problematic situation. They need to get in. They cannot lose this building, too. If they lose both of their altars, it's going to be crazy hard. It's going to be a very, very bad situation for them. Why? As you can see, no. The sky altar was occupied back by the team in red. But they're going to need to hold it for 3 minutes before it starts ticking for points for them again. So by taking it and even losing it after like 20 seconds, that's 450 points less that the folks in red will be making, which is good for blue. Blue needs to do that right now. Right now, blue needs to make as many points as they can and also stop the red team from making as many points as they can. If the folks in blue manage to make 590 points per minute and keep the red team at 0 points per minute by just taking their buildings and continually like making them reoccupy them, 2 thumbs up. That's what they need. They don't need to have the majority of the buildings. They do need to have the majority of points per minute, either by holding their own buildings for as long as humanly possible or by stopping the other team from doing that. Loving having the other matches updates. I am doing my very best to ensure that we have the best viewing experience in Rise of Kingdoms on this channel. And hopefully, although it's been a little bit rough with today's matches and people going crazy to watch r0se, which, by the way, chat, guess what? This match is not that close anymore. I understand that the action was happening here. At the end of the day, like in there, it died 10 minutes in, and in here, it died 30 minutes in. And so I do think that still there's a lot for r0se to learn out of this match, and there's still a chance for them to come back, for the record. They're still 200 points per minute in the lead. 6 minutes means 1,200 points in their favor, so they'll be at 3,140. So they're going to be about 4,800 points. Very, very hard to come back from 4,800 points. That's a tough, tough place to come back from. They might be able to get it done. They really might be able to get it done. Yeah, other than that, looks like BBTH have pretty much won this on arcs. They've definitely won this on arcs. If they will win, they're absolutely going to win this on arcs. It's 10,050 points. 10,500 of their points come from arcs. So this would be a 30,000 to 26,000 point match. But yeah. Yeah, Titch, we can go ahead and hide this dude. And that's that. It's okay. I got it. I got it, brother. Thank you for your hard work, Titch. You've been really helpful today in the chat. I'm not seeing anything in the chat. Who is winning in the 411S match? UCS are 10,000 points ahead. UCS are 10,000 points ahead in the 411S match. That match was done from the beginning because just for the same reason JWM2 lost to HKL from the beginning. The loss of an altar super early on and the inability to take it back very, very quickly because of an Atel Takeda in the building is a very, 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 very problematic situation. Much more problematic. Well, there go my coins. Yeah, I put a little bit of coins with 411S, unfortunately. But hey, if you followed along with my bets, you bet on P-Tall, and P-Tall are winning it big. So you'll get half back, but at least, you know what I'm saying? Oh my goodness. I know, oh my lordy, people are looking for me left and right. All right. 4 minutes remaining in the match. It looks like r0se are not going to be able to come back into this. They're about 140 points behind in a 4,000 point differential between these two teams. Problem. Very big problem. Very big problem for the folks in r0se. I would say that the comeback at this point is very unlikely unless BBTH did not gather whatsoever and r0se are about to bump up 5,000 points. Yeah. It's okay. Y'all fighting in chat, it really doesn't make it doesn't really help, right? It's like it is what it is. To each their own. Dragor does his thing. Let him do his thing. I have no issues. I have no issues with him. I have no issues with him doing his thing. He can voice his opinion as much as he wants. It's okay with me. It's okay with me. Rays beat OUO. Surprise? Did they? Is it a surprise? I said Rays, by the way, when I did my predictions. So sadly, can't place bets on teams from another realm. Have no idea about this Anubis, guys. Voltaire, I understand you. It's very sad that the other realm is just pretty much left for the other realm. It kind of sucks because a big majority of the game right now is not in that realm. It's in this realm, and so that realm is kind of like left to the side. It's a really weird move by Lilith. I would love if they figured out a way to fix this, but what can we do? Oh my lordy. You guys fighting it out is really hilarious. Why are people so mean today? I have no idea what's in the water today. I'm a little pissy today too. I am definitely a little pissy today too. Again, 2 more calls came in since I looked at my phone last time. People are literally looking for me. And so, yeah, it's like everybody's pissy today. It's one of those Sundays. By the looks of it, maybe the moon yesterday was a bit too blue or a bit too big. I like the graphics scores. I'm glad you do. Let's update them one more time. I really wish they would be a little bit nicer and that I had more time to and experimentation to make them look even better. Next week, they'll look much, much better. I don't know if for next stream we'll have this available because I gotta work and I can't set this up for next stream right now. But for next week, we will have it set up for all matches, hopefully. Hopefully, we'll have it set up for all matches. It looks like a minute and a half remaining. r0se are way, way behind. They are winning the points per minute game, but they really need to close a gap, which is just growing. Provisioners are starting to come in to keep your eyes on the score, but I don't think UCS. I don't think r0se have 7,000 points more than BBTH does in terms of provisioning. So it's going to be a very, very, very tough uphill battle. I highly doubt we'll see a 6,000 point bump in here all of a sudden. Oh yeah, Dragor. The plan is going to be for all the matches happening at the time that we're casting to be in here. All the matches will be down here. This was just first experimentation. I could only do it with 4 matches. And so it was with 3 matches, kind of unfortunate. It's only experimentation. When we do this next week, I'll set it up a little bit better. And the plan is for on the bottom, much smaller. Like it'll probably be like something, where is it? Something like that, almost. Super, super gentle, just to not take too much space of your match. and then we'll have like a nice little border for them. They'll be all aligned and neat and all that good stuff, because you can see it's a little bit rough to align them. I'll get them all aligned nice and dandy like they should be, and it'll be like this, kind of with like a border and a nicer title. GG to the folks in, that is right, BBTH. UCS also winning their match. Massive plays by r0se. They got a little bit of ways to go, but it looks like they did fairly, very, very good. They won the game in terms of occupation. They lost in provisions by a little bit, curiously enough, but they definitely lost the Arc game. The problem with the Arc game is that it's all about power, and as you can see in terms of the heals, there's a lot more power available on the BBTH side than there is on the r0se side. Listen, chat, I gotta head out of here. I missed 15, 16 calls. So I'm gonna go back to work. Chat, I appreciate every single one of you. Drop a like on the stream, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. I know some of you are mad and upset that I didn't watch the match earlier and all that stuff. I understand you guys. You gotta understand that, you know, we have a plan. There's things that I want to do, and I understand you guys want to see certain matches. We do our best to select matches. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I always take your feedback, and I always make sure to have the best available content for you guys based on what you guys tell me you want to see. But live during a cast, it's very, very, very tough to make these switches, to do these things. I hope you guys can get it. It's just not. It's just that's the plan. And so I understand that there's things that you guys like and dislike. We're doing our best to give you the best Rise of Kingdoms casting experience. Let's look at the finals at the end of this. OV beating MCO, PTAL beating 96, and UCS beating 411S, C9N beating 49F, 108 beating 1AVG in what looks like the closer match of the day. r0se beating OUO, and r0se versus BBTH. BBTH taking the charge. I am hoping and praying we'll cast one more match today, but honestly, work is crazy, so I might not even cast the next match. I have no idea. If we do cast, we will definitely go for a HKL versus 341. That's the next match that I have hopefully available for casting, but honestly, with the amount of phones that I got, the likelihood of me casting the next match is like... With that being said, chat, I appreciate you all. Thank you for all your continued support. Thank you for making my journey in Rise of Kingdoms awesome, and thank you very much for everything. I'll see you all sooner rather than later. Have a good one and take care. Peace. Oh yeah, drop a thumbs up. Yeah, Dragor. No hard feelings. Don't get too. It's okay. It is what it is. And all of you too who went